It's time for your Saluki Radio preview of the Illinois State Redbirds alongside your Saluki Radio crew, the Coach Pat Poor, Mike Trude. I am Luke Martin. It's Illinois State in-state rivalry game. This is always one, Mike, when you get down to it. A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy, because this rivalry goes back a long time. And, man, there's been some really good games with the Redbirds over the years.
People say, who is your rival? And back in the day, it was always Illinois State. When the Dakotas came in, you can't have a rivalry until it's a rivalry on both ends. Yeah. So Southern's not have the best success against those Dakota teams. Missouri State is always in there, but it's always been the Redbirds. Great games going all the way back to the national championship year and moving forward. And then currently with the two deans of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, Nick Hill and Brock Spack, you can go back through the years. And while they didn't play the last several years because of that crazy scheduling thing, it's always a good football game.
As Mike just mentioned, the two deans of the Valley, the two longest tenured coaches are Brock Spack and Nick Hill. I'm sure for you being around a long time, that's kind of hard to figure out because when Brock Spack first got into the league, I know you were in the league at that time, Coach Poor, but man, these two guys, just two of the deans now in the league.
Yeah, I've known Coach Spack clear back to working Purdue camps and, just listening to Mike talk, I go back to the old days, when we were here with Coach Kill, and just some great games, getting pelted with plastic red footballs up in Bloomington, and Denver Red Boots Johnson, talking smack on us every year, and you do. It's one of those games you know what you're getting into. It's just going to be a haymaker throwing, slobber knocking football game.
Everything from a playoff resume, et cetera. Illinois State with a win, they could potentially be a top 8 seed on Saturday. And a big reason they're in this position, it's no surprise. Their offense, Tommy Rittenhouse, has made so many strides this year. We talk about quarterbacks each and every week in this league, and, man, he's another great one.
He is, and he's one of those quarterbacks that gives the Salukis a lot of issues. Why? Because he's hard to pin down in the pocket, and he will make plays on his feet. He'll go unscheduled, and if you're not set in your defense and you have all of your keys in mind, he's going to get away from you, and then he can also pass on the run. He's got good receivers. He's just one of those guys that has always given the Salukis fits through the years.
Where have you seen Rittenhouse grow this year?
Well, from a development standpoint, I think some his accuracy and some the ability to throw all the different throws. And Mike's exactly right. He's another one of those guys that whatever term you want to tag onto it, slippery. You got to cage rush him. You got to make him beat you from the pocket. You got to be really disciplined in your pass rush. But, numbers-wise, the thing that he's only turned it over 4 times, and I think that's another area from previous years that he's developed. He would throw one up every once in a while, in the past, and now you really see him making good decisions. And another guy that, he's in his world when he's off schedule, when he can get out there, run around, run, pass, and he's got good vision down the field. And like I said, I was impressed with just seeing the different types of throws that he's made. He's played the quick game. He can throw the deep ball. Obviously, off platform, he can throw on the run well, and really is running their offense probably as best as he's ever ran it.
Coach Spack, a defensive guy. It's never a surprise when his defenses are extremely physical, and it's not hard to look to see who is their leader on defense. Ty Niekamp, of course, a coach's kid, over 100-plus tackles already on the season. He does so much, but it's his leadership that Coach Spack told us this week that's really led to other guys starting to blossom.
Ty Niekamp is just the first guy you think about when you think about Illinois State defense. That linebacker core, we've talked about linebacker groups all year long, and the linebacker core for most of the teams in the most really good teams is going to have a good linebacker core, but they need that one guy. For Southern, it's probably, maybe Boehm, maybe it's Bohannock that you look to as that guy. Bohannock's played more. Illinois State is Ty Niekamp. He's been there forever, and coach's son and all that. And then he's got a younger brother, redshirt freshman on the team, who's doing some really, really nice things also at the linebacker spot. But I like the guy on the defensive line. Started every game since his freshman year, Jake Anderson. Stat sheet stuffer, and he started every single game since his true freshman year.
What are the biggest challenges from the schematic side of going up against a Brock Spack defense?
You have to match the physicality right out the gate. I mean, that's just a hallmark of they are going to hit you. They're going to run to the ball. They're going to play with great technique. They're going to be gap sound. Coach Spack talked about systems, and he's had a system, and you just plug guys in there, talking about Boomer going way back to the early 2000s. They've always had that kind of linebacker. I think the kid that doesn't get a lot of credit is LaShavian Brown. 6'2", 215, another one of those safeties that in quarters coverage is down there in the box and, vicious tackler. And then the Cuba kid has kind of been their game wrecker as far as interceptions. But Mike's right, the Anderson kid and all those guys kind of look a lot alike, but he's the one that, if you want to tag the game wrecker onto it, he can wreck you. He's a problem a lot of times, just the way he plays. And to answer your question, I would say right off the bat, you got to out physical these guys. You got to prove it to them. You got to punch them in the mouth and hit them and get them on their heels.
And they're probably playing their best defense of the year right now. Last 4 games, averaging only 15 points allowed per game. They're getting it done. They've been very good on third down the last 4 ball games, and 15 points a game. That says a lot.
Let's look at it, and then on a Saluki perspective, look, it's clear. Even with a win on Saturday, it's going to be really unlikely that Southern Illinois' season will continue. This is going to be its last game of the year, barring, you talk about percentage chances, probably less than 1% chance for the season to continue, Mike. But no, the heartbreaker and losing in 5 overtimes to South Dakota, there are still a ton of seniors that are going to be suiting up for their last time. It is a rivalry game. Even though playoffs are not on the table for the Saluki team, they don't control that part, but they can control ending their season on a high.
Yeah, and 7-5 looks a lot better than 6-6. So they're 6-5 right now going in this last game. It's a huge game for these seniors. It's the last time, and we've heard them all year long talk about how much they really, really enjoy being with each other in the locker room, on the practice field, outside of football, during the games. They truly care about each other. And I've heard it more this week that the underclassmen really would love to send the seniors out with a victory this year. So it's all there for them to do. And I know they're not thinking about the playoffs whatsoever. Again, you said it, probably less than a 1% chance, even with a win. So many things would have to trickle down to have that even a possibility. But to beat a true rival, to get a winning record for the year, to squash last year's 4-8 record, everything would look good with a win.
And you think about from Illinois State, they've won 8 straight November games. When you go back to last year, they have played their best in November. To beat a good team, that would do a lot of great things for this Saluki team heading into whatever is next for them, Coach Poor.
Yeah, I think it's a statement game in a lot of perspectives in terms of the culture of the program. And, we're around these guys all the time, seeing them fight through what all went down last year and, be right on the cusp of, 2-3 games where it's just like we weren't able to prove it. Illinois State has proven it over the past month and a half in those moments that they've won those games. And, I think you'll see the culture, Coach Hill, the attitude of all that, all those guys come out and look at this as, hey, it's the next game, but it's, it's the last one for a lot of these guys, and it means a lot. And just that competitive nature, I don't think you'll see any, we're done to us at all. It's not that kind of group. It's not that kind of people.
It's been a fun year to be around this group, and you get one more guaranteed Saturday, and it will be tomorrow at noon will be kickoff, which means these guys will have their coverage starting at 11. Larry Larson will fill in for yours truly on Saturday. It will be a big one from Hancock Stadium. We hope you join Saluki Radio coverage, and, of course, we'll always stream on the Valley on ESPN. We want to thank you, Saluki Nation, for tuning in each and every week for all of our previews throughout the year. Be sure to stay tuned for some postseason recap coverage and all of that to come. So a big thank you to all of you for making our coverage what it is each and every year. So for my partners, the Coach Pat Poor, Mike Trude, I am Luke Martin, saying so long, Saluki Nation, until Saturday. From Bloomington Normal, Illinois, go Dogs.